Now, this, according to Rabbitohs.com.au, Rabbitohs captain Cameron Murray has a suspected ruptured Achilles tendon, which suffered at training today. Can you believe that? He'll get scans. However, he is not expected to be available to play in the coming months. Now, usually, Scopey, we'll start with this particular part of it. If we have a player with a ruptured Achilles tendon, what does that normally mean?
Normally season, mate.
Wow.
Yeah. I remember, years ago now, probably dating back just before sort of I'd started, like Achilles tendon was a serious injury for athletes to come back from. I played in a game where Joey Nalaval ruptured his Achilles right next to me.
Wow.
And I heard the pop like someone had slapped the back of his calf, and it's making me feel a little bit uneasy now. I remember him hitting the deck and looking around and was like confused of what was going on. He thought someone had clipped him. A lot of people say that, where you feel like you've been clipped or someone's like flicked your boot from behind you. And that was devastating for us. That was a huge year. 2013, we lost Joey, and we had our pocket rockets off the bench. Joey Nalaval, Richie Fayaso.
Wow, yeah,
they were huge
Richie
for us.
Fayaso. What a great player he was.
And then we obviously make the grand final, but I reckon if we got one of those guys, if we got two of them, I like our chances, Sugar. But if we just had one of them, and Joey went down around, I would say, around round 20, 21, 22.
What a great bloke too, Joey.
Legend.
Yeah.
Legend. And then Richie Fayaso a little bit later on. I'm shattered for the South Sydney Rabbitohs. I don't think there's probably one more likeable player in the competition that no one's got a problem with. Jakey Javojevic.
That's right. That's right.
And I reckon number two's Cameron Murray. Everyone just loves him. He's one of those guys who does everything right. And, it's devastating not only for South but for the game, a week out from Vegas.
Oh, and for him and his partner. The partners carry a lot, and this guy, Cam Murray, you just know this off-season he's given everything. It is so cruel. It is so cruel. I tell you spoke about that sound and you reminded me of this. I was dropped to reserve grade and I'm playing for the West Tigers. We're playing Canterbury, I think it was. And there's a kid called Dean Byrne who was a great player, halfback, crafty, schemy. He goes through at Accor Stadium. There's 10 people there, so everything's quite echoey. And if he just passes it to me, I'm going to fall over the line. But he shows and goes, and Daniel Holdsworth tackles him cleanly. There's nothing untoward about it, but gets him in the lower leg, and you hear this.
Oh.
And I'll never forget it. And mate, the fallout for that, he had Golden Staff, he had. For all these players out there with injuries, you can't think about them enough. It is so bloody hard. It is so hard. Rabbitohs fullback Latrell Mitchell. He's now been ruled out of this Saturday's Charity Shield. A hamstring complaint. I keep saying this, and I don't want to say I told you so, and I'm not saying I told you so. But for me, the Latrell Mitchell that I see, I don't believe he's a fullback. I just think he is, and to many degrees, I think kind of the same of Tommy Turbo. These guys are such hard-wired athletes. Powerful athletes, right? Why? So I'm big on this hybrid model, right? So why do we need Tommy Turbo, Latrell Mitchell to be, I call it the paddock, catching the ball at the back of the field and trucking it up the end of the field? Why don't we just put the Porsches in the garage, play them in the centres? We don't need them doing those carries and that work throughout the year and doubling the load. And then when we get into the halfway line or towards the green zone, as they like to call it, Ferraris, get in there and do as you please. Why do we have to obsess about putting the load on Latrell Mitchell, chasing behind the line, covering on this line, Tommy Turbo doing the same? Why can't we just go, you know what, let's name him in the centres and let's get Jack Whiten, let's get, Ruben Garrick.
I want smaller bodies. Sugar.
Smaller bodies.
I'm with you.
To be the tractors.
Yep.
Get us out of our own half. And then when we get into their half, okay, Ferraris. There's no rules that say if you play centre, you've got to be hedged to a certain side for the whole game or hemmed to a certain side. Dylan Edwards is different to Latrell Mitchell as an athlete, is different to Tommy Trebojevic, is different to James Tedesco. James Tedesco, Dylan Edwards, they would be happy with 52-week seasons. They just keep turning up. Latrell Mitchell and Tommy Turbo are not that athlete. Clint Gutherson, he would play 70 weeks in a 52-week season. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And it's going back to the body shape, Sugar. That's a big part of it, mate. And when you think of these guys, if you think specific, position-specific players, like in the NFL, for example, and you start using that in terms of body shapes, you just find that the smaller bodies that are running multiple kilometres and probably the most kilometres for a position in our game at the moment. I'm with you. I've sort of been petitioning now for at least about 18 months with Turbo, becoming a bit of a hybrid player and fully understanding it. By the way, I will mention, I was at the All-Stars game calling that. Latrell looked Mickey Mouse.
Yes.
He looked so fit.
He is
so
Mickey
this
Mouse.
isn't a knock on the fitness. This is just a knock on size.
Yep.
Body shapes and durability because of their size. Even sort of going back and remembering when guys like Sonny Bill Williams first hit the scene.
Yep.
And bigger bodies. I always find that obviously there's more opportunity for contact for them. More often than not, they're dragging 2 or 3 defenders, Sugar.
You're correct.
So therefore, that fourth person that comes in and doesn't get into a play that's a little bit smaller. So you sort of take that out of the reps as well.
Yep.
I'm all for it, mate. I've been for it as well. And unfortunately, this is a training injury, and this doesn't completely.
Yeah, but it's a load thing. Like it's a load thing. Let me just ask you this, right, Scope, before we've got the news coming up. Amy Drew, we apologise for our lack of punctuality. But I'll ask you this in very, very simple terms. If Dylan Edwards, Clint Gutherson, and Latrell Mitchell, who is as fit as he's ever been right now, if they did a 5K time trial, give me the trifecta.
Dylan Edwards. Oh, got it. Yeah.
But the only thing you know who runs third, don't you?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
So it's Dylan Edwards or
Gutho's pretty fit.
Yeah. But we only know that those two are fighting for gold.
Yeah.
Latrell Mitchell, as fit as he has ever been, he is guaranteed bronze medal in that. So they are different athletes. You have to play them different ways. What, you're still here? Well, you can see more on the Joel and Fletch socials and catch us live on SEN Radio, you beautiful humans.